Hello everyone, this video will cover Module 15. Module 15 and 16 are the final assignments for the class. They will be open at the same time, so you can complete them at your own pace, and they will close at the same time. So make sure that you are paying attention to the due dates and the end date for the course. So Module 15 is about revision, and Module 16 is just about the reflection of the semester. So you can see that we have two assignments here that we're working on, and the first one is your revision assignment. The revision assignment is to look back through the essays that you've written this semester and collect 15 errors. So you're looking for sentences that either have an actual error in them. So, you misspelled something, or it's a comma splice or something like that. Or look for sentences that just need to be rewritten because there is some kind of issue with the wording. So you're going to look through your essays. I would start with the graded ones because you can start with like the errors that I've identified and then go through the ones that haven't been graded yet. Those would be the ones that you are kind of looking for on your own. And you can use the same error more than once, that's fine. So what you're gonna do is you'll open a new document. You're gonna copy and paste the error or the sentence that needs to be revised into your document. You're going to correct it. So you'll do, underneath it, write the corrected version, and then you're gonna explain what you did. If it's a specific grammar rule that you broke, you can name the grammar rule. You can use your rules for writer's book for that. Or you can just kind of explain what you did. So I didn't like the wording, or I wanted to reword it, or this made it clearer, or something like that is fine. So you're going to do 15 total, and you get points for each one. So make sure that you are numbering them and that you have 15 total. If you run out of errors to look for or sentences you want to correct, there are also some exercises you can pull from if you want to. I do have an example here, and it's pretty simple. It's all going to go into one document. You're not making changes to the original essays. So you're just putting these sentences from the other essay, from all of your essays, into this one document. And then we'll see if my example pulls up. But my example, I've got 3 of them spaced out for you. Original, corrected, and explanation. And then for the explanation, if you want to do something like, let's say that there's something that's an issue with the entire essay, so maybe you need to reorganize or something. My second one here, you can see it affects the entire essay. So rather than copying and pasting my entire essay, I'm just going to write it affects the entire essay. That way it keeps the document a little bit cleaner. And then how you should have corrected it, and then why it needs to be corrected. So the main thing that I want you to get out of this assignment is the why. So what's going on there? What was the issue to begin with? And then that way it'll be hopefully in the future, you'll be able to start really identifying areas where your writing can be improved because you've gone through this process of trying to just pick out sentences or sections that need to be rewritten. And then this is one of those where we have an outcome that I'm assessing for the entire class. So make sure that you are putting some good effort into revising your sentences and identifying issues. The second assignment is your last mindful reading exercise. So it's from that mindful reading textbook that we haven't done anything from for a little while. This will be the last one. And it's to do a reading journal. And so it kind of is a culmination activity for this, which is why it's also assessing an outcome. And it's called a reading journal. And basically a reading journal is something that you could, keep on your own as you're doing your classes, is just keep a notebook handy or a file handy and just write about everything that you read. And the important thing to remember is that we remember things better when we write our thoughts down. So these are some questions that you can think of as you're doing your reading. You're going to choose an article to read. Either you can pick from the part 2 readings, which some of you have done already, and that's way down at the end of the book. The end of the file is all of these different readings that you can pick from, and that's one option. And so you could just do one of these if you want, or you can pick an article online about something that you're interested in, or maybe something you're using for another class. That's fine. As long as you tell me where you got it from. So author, title, URL, link, that kind of thing. And then read through it, and then you're going to answer these questions. So what kind of strategy did you use? So you want to read through it purposefully. Reading strategies, what was the limitations of that reading strategy? Did you have to use a different reading strategy as you went through? So if you were just skimming at first, did you miss something? You felt like you needed to go back, that kind of thing. What is it telling you about you as a reader? What other strategies should you use? And then how is this reading experience going to help you in other courses? So we're really just reflecting on how did you do reading did the strategy work out for you, all of that kind of thing. And so we're at a page of answers, and you can answer them specifically, or you can, most of the time students will just kind of write out some paragraphs, and you can see that example was on page 25, like I showed you earlier. I think it's this one right here. She just writes 3 paragraphs, just kind of going through what helped and what didn't help, that kind of thing. So this is what I'm looking for. If you double space this would be a page long. So I want you to follow that example there. If you have any questions as you're completing these assignments, feel free to send me an email. Otherwise, have a great week.